Okay, so congrats. You finally took the plunge, keys are in hand, and that new car smell is calling your name. Or maybe it's new to you, but still, freedom, right?
Yeah.
But between us, owning a car, it's kind of like getting a pet goldfish. Except
Yeah.
this goldfish needs, oil changes and stuff.
Right.
No worries, though, because today we're diving deep into Car Care 101 so you can keep that sweet ride running smooth for miles to come.
I like that. We spend so much time thinking about like the actual driving part, but honestly, understanding even just the basics of car maintenance, that right there can save you so much trouble later on.
Word.
And not to mention money.
Oh, yeah, that too. So let's break this down. Where do we even begin?
You got to start with the fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking like the big three of car care.
The big three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oil, coolant, and your battery.
Okay.
Those three, you got to keep on top of them. It's like forgetting to feed your goldfish, walk the dog, and water your plants all at the same time.
Oof. That's a recipe for disaster. I'm already picturing the wilting plants and the sad puppy dog eyes. But seriously, why are these three so important for our cars?
Think of them like the vital organs of your car.
Okay.
So oil, that's like your car's blood, right?
Okay.
Keeps everything running smooth, reduces all that friction between the engine parts. Skipping an oil change is like, I don't know, running a marathon, but you didn't bring water.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Yeah. Eventually things are going to seize up, and not in a good way.
Not good, not good.
You're talking potential engine failure.
Right.
Thousands of dollars in repairs just because you skipped out on a simple oil change.
You're speaking my language.
Yeah.
Avoiding those costly repairs. So you mentioned checking the oil regularly. How often are we talking about? Like once a year with my New Year's resolutions?
Yeah.
Every few fill-ups? What's the deal?
That's a good question. Ideally, once a month to check the levels. It's a quick little dipstick check, see where it's at. Kind of like taking your car's temperature. And it can give you an early warning if there's a leak or if, you're running low. Now, oil changes, that's a bit different. Remember that old 3,000 miles rule?
Oh, yeah. My grandpa, he used to swear by that. 3,000 miles.
Yeah, well, times have changed.
Okay.
Modern engines, the fancy synthetic oils they got now,
Yeah.
a lot of cars can go way more, like 5,000, even 10,000 miles between changes.
Wow.
Yeah, but don't just take my word for it. Your owner's manual, that's like the car's own personal Bible.
Okay.
It'll tell you exactly what your car needs.
It's like they knew I would be lost without it. All right, so oil, check. What about coolant? What is that?
Coolant, or sometimes they call it antifreeze.
Okay.
It's essential. It keeps your engine running at the right temperature.
Okay, important.
Yeah. Think of it as your car's own internal thermostat. Keeps it from, overheating in the summer or freezing up when it's cold out.
Right, makes sense.
And just like with your oil, you can check this yourself, the coolant level. Just make sure the engine's completely cool first because you don't want hot coolant like spraying out. That's a bad day.
Yeah, and probably a pretty nasty burn, too. Ouch.
Ouch.
So where do we even check for this coolant?
If you pop the hood, you'll see something called the coolant reservoir.
Reservoir, okay.
Again, the owner's manual. Your best friend, it'll show you exactly what it looks like and where it is. If the level's low, you can top it off yourself, easy peasy. But if you're having to constantly add coolant, that's a red flag right there.
Okay.
Could be a leak. You might want to get a mechanic to check that out.
Okay, got it. Don't ignore a thirsty car. All right, so we've got our oil, we've got our coolant. What about the third musketeer of car maintenance here? We're talking the battery.
Oh, yeah, the battery, that's a good one.
What's the deal with batteries?
This is the one people forget about until it's too late.
Right, until you're stuck on the side of the road, yeah.
Exactly, and you're like, I need a jump. It's the heart of your car's whole electrical system.
Yeah?
And these days,
Yeah.
all these modern cars, the electrical system controls a lot more than you think.
Okay, so tell me more about the signs of a struggling battery, because I've definitely had my fair share of jump starts. Like, what should I be looking out for?
Okay, well, if your headlights are looking a little dim, or the car takes a little longer to start in the morning, that could be your battery waving, saying, hey, time out. Pay attention to me.
Okay.
And here's a fun fact. Extreme temps, hot or cold, that can really mess with your battery's lifespan.
Oh, really? So it's like they're the Goldilocks of the car care world. Not too hot, not too cold.
Exactly. If you live somewhere, crazy hot summers or like frigid winters, it's not a bad idea to get that battery tested, especially before those seasons hit. A lot easier than dealing with a dead battery in the middle of a blizzard.
Yeah, that's true. Or like 100-degree weather.
Yeah, trust me on that one.
So we've tackled what you called the big three: oil, coolant, and that battery.
Yeah.
But before we move on, I want to touch on something you said earlier about those owner's manuals. You're right. They can be kind of intimidating, like, whoa, so much information. Mine's the size of like a small novel. So how do we even make sense of all that stuff?
It can be a lot, yeah. But honestly, it's worth like sitting down with a cup of coffee and really getting acquainted with that owner's manual
Okay.
because it's going to have all those like make and model specific recommendations,
Yeah.
everything from the type of oil to use to like when you should be doing certain maintenance.
Right.
Plus, a lot of times they even have like little diagrams and stuff that show you where things are under the hood.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah. So you're not just like blindly fumbling around.
Right. Poking around. Okay. So it's basically like the car's own personal Wikipedia page.
There you go.
I like it. Okay. So we've got our big three down. But what about those trusty tires? I mean, they are a point of contact with the road after all, right?
Literally. And keeping those tires properly inflated, so crucial. Not just for like a comfy ride, although that's nice too, but you're talking about fuel efficiency and your safety, which obviously that's a biggie.
Right. Very important.
Think about it this way. You wouldn't go for like a long hike in flip-flops, right?
No, my ankles hurt just thinking about that.
Right. Same kind of deal with your tires. Underinflated, it's like you have less control and you're going to wear yourself out way faster.
Okay, ouch. Yeah, I can feel that analogy in my ankles.
Yeah.
So you're saying it makes a difference how inflated your tires are?
Huge.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I always thought that was like a minor thing, like, whatever.
Nope. Even just a few PSI under, it can throw off your car's handling.
Okay.
Especially think about like if you need to slam on the brakes.
Right.
Plus, it makes your engine work harder, means you're burning more gas. It's like trying to run, but you've got like ankle weights on.
Yeah, not ideal.
Possible, but not ideal.
Not ideal. Okay, I'm convinced. No more ignoring those little tire pressure warning lights. But like, how often should we be checking that?
Yeah.
And what about that whole penny test thing for the tread?
Good questions. I like it. Aim to check that pressure at least once a month.
Okay.
You can usually find that the recommended PSI, pounds per square inch.
Right, for those who don't know.
Exactly. It's usually like a little sticker inside the driver's side door jamb. Or, surprise, surprise, your owner's manual will have it too.
The owner's manual, of course.
Yeah.
But what about actually checking the pressure? What's the best way? I've seen those gauges at the gas station, but I don't know.
I wouldn't trust those.
Yeah, they seem kind of sus.
Yeah, they can be a little wonky. Honestly, you just get yourself a decent tire pressure gauge.
Okay,
They're super cheap. You can get them anywhere, and they're easy peasy to use.
got it. Small price to pay for, like that peace of mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got tire pressure down. What about that penny test? I've heard that's a quick way to tell if your tires are, like, totally bald and you need new ones.
100%.
Okay.
It's so simple, but it's so effective. You just take a penny, stick it in one of those grooves on your tire, Lincoln's head down.
And you can head down. Got it.
If you can see all of Honest Abe's head, it's time for some new shoes.
Got it. Okay, that is so easy. Wow. I'm adding that to my little car gear checklist right now. Speaking of, we've covered the essentials, right? We've got the oil, coolant, battery, tires, all that good stuff. But there's more to car care than just these basics, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Just like, we need to breathe clean air. Our cars need that too. That's where those air filters come in.
Okay.
Both for, your engine and the air you breathe inside the car.
Wait, so you're telling me those things aren't just for Instagram ads? I actually have filters in my car.
You got me there.
This is news to me.
But for real, those air filters are way more important than people realize. So the engine air filter, that little guy's job is to stop all the junk from getting sucked into your engine.
Okay, what kind of junk are we talking?
I'm talking dirt, dust, bugs, you name it. It's trying to get in there, and it can really mess things up if it does.
So not changing your engine air filter is kind of like, what, breathing through a dirty sock?
Pretty much.
Okay, that doesn't sound great for my car or my lungs.
Yeah, a clogged air filter, it chokes your engine, right? So you're talking reduced power, worse gas mileage, even a shorter lifespan for your engine.
Okay, that's a visual I won't soon forget. Breathing through a dirty sock. So how often are we swapping out this engine air filter?
Good rule of thumb. Every 12,000 to 15,000 miles. But again, check your owner's manual.
Right, because every car is a little different. Okay, so that's the engine. What about this cabin air filter you mentioned? What does that one do?
So that one cleans the air you're breathing inside the car. All the pollen, dust, allergens, even pollution from the road.
Oh, okay, so that's one that's super important for people with allergies.
Big time. Okay. If you or someone you're driving around, if allergies are a thing, that cabin air filter Keep it clean, especially when it's like high pollen season.
Okay, got it.
Mhm.
Out of sight, out of mind does not apply in this case.
Nope.
Now, how often should we be changing this one? Is it the same as the engine air filter?
The cabin air filters usually got a little more leeway. Think more like 15,000 to 30,000 miles.
Okay.
But again, owner's manual.
Owner's manual, got it.
Your Bible. And pro tip here, if you're always battling like, oh, weird smell in your car,
Okay.
dirty cabin air filter could be the culprit.
Oh, really? Okay, good to know. I'll be checking mine for sure. So we've covered like the essential fluids, the filters, all that good stuff. What else do we need to know to keep our cars in tip-top shape?
Well, just like us, cars need a little extra love as the seasons change.
Right.
So up next, we got to talk about those seasonal tune-up secrets.
Okay.
How to get your car ready for those scorching hot days to braving like the snow and ice.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, this is getting interesting. Stay tuned, folks, because we're just getting started. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're tackling all things car care, and before we took a little break, we were getting ready to talk about those seasonal maintenance tips.
Yeah,
It's kind of like, like swapping out your wardrobe, but for your car, right?
perfect analogy. Just
Yeah.
like you wouldn't wear like a swimsuit in a blizzard. Your car needs different things depending on what the weather's doing outside.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's start with winter, because that's usually, at least for us, the most brutal on your car.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Winter is tough on cars. I don't care where you live. You got freezing temps, potential for snow and ice, and don't even get me started on that road. So it's just like a recipe for wear and tear on your car.
Yeah, it's a beating.
Big time. And one of the biggest things that gets hit in the winter is your battery.
Oh, tell me about it. I've had so many mornings where my battery is just like, nope, not today.
The worst, right?
The worst.
Especially when you're in a hurry. And you know what? That cold weather, man, it can really zap your battery's power. So good thing to do is like in the fall, before it gets really cold, have your mechanic just test the battery, make sure it's good to go.
Okay, that's a good tip.
And while they're at it, might as well make sure those windshield wipers can handle a downpour, because nobody wants to be caught in a snowstorm.
With like busted wipers.
But bad wipers, exactly.
Right. Visibility is key, especially in the winter. What about washer fluid? I've heard there's a special kind you're supposed to use in the winter. Is that true?
Yeah, winter grade washer fluid.
Okay, and what's so special about this magical fluid?
It's got a lower freezing point, so you're not spraying slush onto your windshield when you need to clean it.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's the worst. You think you're cleaning your windshield, and it's just like smearing more gunk all over.
Yeah, you can't see anything then. It defeats the whole purpose. Okay, so winter washer fluid. Got it. Now, what about tires? Like, should we be switching to winter tires when the white stuff starts falling?
That's a good question. That one really depends on where you live and like what kind of winter you get.
Okay.
If you're somewhere that's like known for snow and ice every year, winter tires can be a game changer.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. The way they grip the road when it's slick, no comparison, way better traction. You can brake easier,
Yeah.
and they handle like a dream.
So it's like having like special shoes for the winter, but for your car.
Exactly.
I like it.
They're made from a different kind of rubber, so they don't get all stiff and useless when the temperature drops.
That makes sense. So I imagine if you're, in sunny Florida your whole life, you probably don't need to worry about this.
Probably not. But hey, you never know.
You never know. Yeah. So, okay, we made it through winter. Let's talk spring. Any tips for giving your car like a little post-winter pampering?
Think of it like a spa day, right? After winter, your car deserves a little treat. First things first, a good wash and wax is never a bad idea. Gets rid of all that salt that's probably clinging on for dear life, and it'll make your car's paint happy.
Right.
Plus, who doesn't love that fresh wax shine? And if you did swap over to those winter tires, now's the time to, put their summer shoes back on.
Right. Because driving on winter tires in the middle of summer, that's like wearing, snow boots to the beach?
Exactly. It's going to be a rough ride.
Not going to work out too well.
Plus, it'll wear those winter tires down way faster, and you're definitely going to feel it in your gas mileage.
Okay, good to know.
Okay.
Anything else we should be checking as things start to heat up?
Keep an eye on that tire pressure, especially in spring.
Okay.
When those temperatures start swinging back and forth, it can make your tire pressure go a little haywire.
Right.
And while you're at it, just pop open the hood, give those fluids a quick check, make sure everything's topped off, your oil, your coolant, brake fluid, the whole 9 yards.
The whole shebang.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A little preventative maintenance goes a long way.
For sure. Now, we've covered a lot today. We talked oil changes, tire pressure, all those seasonal tune-up things.
Yeah.
But let's be real. There are some car things I'm down to tackle myself.
Yeah.
But some things,
Yeah.
I'm like, nope, I'm calling a professional.
Right, right.
How do we know when to DIY and when it's time to, like, wave the white flag and call in the experts?
That is the question, isn't it?
It is?
Some people, they love getting their hands dirty. They're like, give me a wrench. I can fix anything.
Backyard mechanics. Yeah.
Exactly. And then other people, they wouldn't know a wrench if it hit them in the face.
Right.
And that's fine. The important thing is to, like, know your limits.
Totally. You don't need to be a certified mechanic to be a responsible car owner.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, if you're comfortable with the basics, checking your oil, topping off fluids, maybe changing a tire if you had to, go for it.
Right.
There are tons of resources out there. YouTube's your friend.
YouTube can teach you anything these days.
Oh, yeah. Videos, step-by-step guides, you name it.
Plus, there's something kind of satisfying about doing it yourself, right?
Totally. But, and this is a big but, if it feels even a little bit over your head, like maybe it's brakes, something electrical, or anything that needs, like, special tools or knowledge that you don't have,
Yeah.
don't mess around. Call a pro.
Yeah. Safety first. Better safe than sorry, right?
100%. Especially when it comes to your car, right? You're depending on that thing to get you from A to B safely.
Absolutely. Okay, so we talked about new-to-you cars, taking care of them, but you mentioned something before about older cars. Like, is there anything different with those?
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about those classic cars. Especially those Japanese domestic market cars.
Okay, the JDMs.
The JDS.
Yeah, those are like practically collector's items these days. I saw this pristine Toyota Supra the other day, like a 90s model, going for a fortune.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much those older cars are worth now.
Oh, for sure. They're in high demand. But, you know, those old engines, they were built to last, don't get me wrong, but they need a little extra love as they get up there in years, you know?
Okay, so what kind of things should those classic car owners, especially the JDM fans out there,
Sure.
what should they be thinking about?
Proactive maintenance is key. That's number one.
Okay.
Don't wait till something breaks and then you're scrambling, right?
Right. Stay ahead of it.
Exactly. Find a good mechanic, someone who really knows their stuff, especially when it comes to those JDMs, regular checkups, just to, like, keep an eye on things.
Okay, so it's kind of like taking your vintage watch to, like, that specialist for those regular cleanings.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because those parts, not always easy to find for those older cars.
Right. And I'm assuming they're not cheap either, probably.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So addressing those little issues early on, it saves you a lot of headaches and a lot of money down the line.
Okay, so the motto with these classic cars is, like, prevention is better than the cure.
100%, yeah. And honestly, that's true for any car.
That's true.
But especially those older models we want to keep on the road, right? Keep those classics alive.
Right, exactly. Well, we covered a ton of ground in this deep dive. We talked about those essential fluids, those mysterious filters, all those seasonal tips,
Yeah, it's been fun, right?
and even some great advice for, keeping those classic cars, those JDMs, out there on the road.
Gotta love those classics.
But before we wrap up today, any final words of wisdom for all our car-loving listeners out there?
You know what? Just remember, a well-maintained car is a happy car.
True.
And a happy car means a happy driver.
And that's what we like to hear. And with all this knowledge you've soaked up today from this deep dive, you're practically car whisperers now.
Car whisperers. I like it.
But before we hit the road for real, we want to hear from you. What surprised you the most during our little car care chat today? What made you go, wait, really?
I had no idea.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Hit us up on social media. Let's